First of all, I think, well, in so very many ways, because some of the stuff that they stated in the report, profiling, predictive profiling, has been an issue. Compliance with data and identification requirements, ISPS codes, that is International Ships on Port Facilities Code for the maritime environment, airport security ramping up, and then there are so many programs that the U.S. administration's put in place to ensure that security was strengthened to defend the U.S. homeland, and African countries have had to comply with this, because for your passengers, for your citizens to travel to the United States, or in fact for you to do certain business like cargo business, air freight business, air freight, yeah, of course that was affected also, and sea freight business, you had to comply with the U.S. identification and pre-check requirements, because these were measures that they needed to protect their own homeland, and we were compelled to comply with those measures such that they will allow us do trade and also do exchanges, visits, and what have you with them.
But after 19 years, we have seen different jihadist groups in Africa learning. Are we learning anything from their operations? Because America has been able to reshape its own policies in terms of security. But do you think Africa, is actually learning anything from that attack?
Well, that's the unfortunate part of it, because we have all been witnesses to what has happened in the United States. Since that day, 19 years ago, no successful large-scale attack has taken place in the United States because of the measures, because of them being proactive, because of changes in the intelligence infrastructure, because of wholesale changes in the security infrastructure, accountability. In fact, the 9/11 Commission went in there and came out and said that there was a failure of imagination, which is what they said was responsible for the attacks successfully being carried out. So what am I saying? Well, yes, the U.S. has a lot of resources, but the U.S. also, it was really more the cerebral resources, because they sat down, they took responsibility, and they thought hard and long about it. Well, in our case here in Africa, particularly here in Nigeria, terrorism is a daily affair. And we are not trying, we just excuse the terrorists, as it were. Just yesterday here, they had a situation where 20 people were kidnapped in Abuja, suburb. Dangamaji, exactly. And that is inexcusable. In your report just now, they talked about the Chibok schoolgirls. Boko Haram, 11 years on, is waxing stronger, as it were. In fact, they now have branches and divisions around the country. That's really very unfortunate. So I think what to learn from the American experience is that we must approach terrorism with a single track mindedness. We must be serious about it. We must fight it and kill it. And we must ensure that we don't play politics with terrorism. In fact, that's the biggest problem we have here. Everything is politicized, and we must eschew that. It must be a serious matter that does not brook dilution or obfuscation, and that is where we are.
Just like you said, you mentioned the Tugamaji attack yesterday in suburb in the FCT, but looking at how intelligence reports are being gathered prior to that attack on 9/11, the U.S. had probably heard about the attack, and then it happened. We have had various reports here in Nigeria, intelligence reports. How well can we approach and act on intelligence report and the management of information in the fight against terrorism?
Thank you very much, Miss. Now, the problem we have here is that we have a lot of stovepiping, and we have a lot of silo mentality. Silos, every intelligence agency here works in its own little cocoon, as it were. And they don't share, they don't fuse, they don't integrate. And that is what was happening to the U.S. Back by September 10th of 2001, before September 11th it hit. Because there was this report in Denver that al-Qaeda agents were learning to fly planes but not learning to land. They were flying, they knew how to take off, but they didn't know how to land. So what did that mean? That meant they were going to crash into something. And somehow the FBI got that intel, but they weren't able to put it together. That's why I said the 9/11 report said there was a failure of imagination. Now, having said that, I think here we are bedeviled by a lot of stovepiping, by a lot of grandstanding, by a lot of infighting. Everybody's trying to show Mr. President that they are the better agency, and that's really very unfortunate because they are not serving Nigerians. They are serving themselves, as it were. And I think we ought to really get more serious. For example, a few days ago, the Americans came out with an intelligence report and said that, al-Qaeda, ISIS, and Boko Haram, they are linking and they are moving in through the northwest and advancing south to Nigeria. And what I heard next was somebody in authority saying, don't mind them, we already know that before. I mean, that's a very casual way of looking at intelligence. You can't say we already know that. Yes, sure, take it and then work with it, see what you can do with it. And of course, it was now proven by the Tungumaje attack in a few days ago. And we know that that's been going on for a while, but unfortunately, I think our problem is failure of intelligence analysis. We get the intelligence, we're able to collect, but we're not able to analyze and make sense out of what we are seeing. We're not able to connect two dots. That's what it is.
Security expert on my comment. Thank you so much for